Hey guys, welcome back to Pretentious Pundits, a channel where we discuss all things football and pretend to know what we're talking about. Anyways, the season 2021-2022 of the EPL is about to begin. And if you've seen our story recently, we're starting our own FPL league called the Pundits Premier League. So DM us if you want to, you know what, we're going to leave a link to it in the description down below.
Yeah.
But also DM us if you want the link to join the Pundits Premier League. Anyways, so what are we going to do? We're just a couple of hours away from the first ever fixture of 2021-22 season kicking off. That's between Arsenal and Brentford. So we thought what better opportunity than to preview some of the fixtures as well as talk about our FPL team, some of the decisions that we've made so far and the decisions that we decided against rather, which are the most interesting topics to talk about. So kicking it off at Arsenal versus Brentford. Obviously, this is latest in the news. It says that both Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang are going to miss the fixture against Brentford because both have fallen ill. I personally feel like there couldn't be a better time for Brentford to capitalize on the situation. And I think, Josh, you have Ivan Toney in your FPL team.
I do have Ivan Toney in my FPL team. We'll just put it up here. I think the FPL teams in the top, so they can see what we have for game week 1. I do have Ivan Toney because, what a brilliant player. He's coming from the Championship. I know it's a completely different atmosphere from the Premier League, but he looks like he's going to be very dangerous this season. I think every team must look out for him. And if not, the entire Brentford team, I think they're severely underrated from everyone. Everyone thinks they're going to go straight back down, but I think they're going to pull a Sheffield and they're going to shock the entire league. And especially this, like you said, this is the time when they have to take advantage. Arsenal missing key strikers and Brentford's defense not that strong. So this is where they need to take the advantage and outscore Arsenal if possible. And I think if Toney can have a good start to the season, I think this is where he can do it against Arsenal, who I think pre-season wise, they have not done extremely well. I think the first match they lost and they played Spurs recently.
Yeah, they did.
They lost as well. I think Son scored. So they're not looking great. And I kept saying this last season as well in all our videos that I just don't think Arteta should stay at Arsenal. I'm not seeing any difference in the team. Right. But that's up to the Arsenal board. But yeah, I think this is the perfect opportunity for Brentford to get the win.
Also, guys, as of FPL, speaking strictly in terms of FPL, obviously Ivan Toney is the most picked striker with over 30% of the FPL players picking him in their squad. Also, second to him, I think the most picked Arsenal player is probably going to be Ben White, a very cheap defender for 4.5 million. So I would suggest you go pick him up because this is one of those signings that is going to be logged into your squad for the rest of the season. I don't think you're going to be transferring him out anytime soon. So anyway, Shash, just like to take a moment and ask you to just go through your squad. Shash's squad will obviously be somewhere on the screen here. So just for your reference.
So I have Martinez in goal. I think it's a no-brainer. I think there are two goalkeepers that have been chosen the most. I think there's Sanchez from Brighton as well as Martinez. And I think last season Martinez had what an amazing season for the goalkeeper. And I think I'm going to back him this season as well. Cheap option as well, 4.5 million, which is going to fit right into the team. And they're playing Watford. So I think Watford have a really good strike force. But again, Aston Villa have good defenders. And I think Martinez is a really good goalkeeper. So that's why I've gone with Martinez.
Fair
of
enough.
Course, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's had a brilliant pre-season. Coming back to Tsimikas on the left side as well. I've gone with 4 at the back for the game week 1 because I feel like Tsimikas I don't think anyone should miss the opportunity in the first few game weeks to take Tsimikas because he's had most brilliant pre-season. I've never seen a left back play like him since Robbo signed for us. And now that Robertson is injured, I'm pretty sure Tsimikas will start. So for 4 million, it's a bargain. I've also taken Shaw and Koufal. So I've chosen only wing backs in my back four, which will help me get those points in case they score an assist or clean sheets as well, or a combination of both. And looking at that Leeds game, Leeds versus United, I can't help but think of last year when United played Leeds, and it was, wow,
6-1?
what a show. But I don't think that's going to happen this year, but I still think they can keep a clean sheet. And I think Shaw has had a brilliant Euros as well.
Yeah.
So, I've gone with Shaw for that. And my midfield has Barnes, Fernandes and Salah. I think Salah, everyone has to have him. He's known to play extremely well in game week 1 and captaining him as well. I think he will definitely, and he loves to score against Norwich. So I've captained him. Fernandes, I think now with Fernandes, it's a hit or miss. He can either do extremely well in the first few weeks or he can perform after that. But coming off of last season, and he looked really sharp in pre-season as well. So that's why I've gone with Bruno. And Harvey Barnes, coming to who's looked sharp in pre-season. Harvey Barnes has looked spectacular in pre-season. I'm not sure if he'll start. I had Mason Mount here just some time back. I literally just changed him.
He definitely will. I suggested you switch to Harvey Barnes purely because of the fact that he's one of the crucial players for Leicester's squad. In that attack, I think they look to players like, obviously there's Iheanacho right now, but there are speculations of him moving away. So apart from him, there are key faces in that attack. It consists of Harvey Barnes, obviously. It also has Jamie Vardy. Ayoze Perez, I wouldn't say he's that crucial to them. He's more like a substitute to Vardy. But I feel like the four players rather that Leicester look to in terms of goals and creativity are James Maddison, Jamie Vardy, Harvey Barnes, and Yuri Tielemans. So these four players, with any of them, it would be like more like a hit or miss because you never know how Leicester's season will go. Obviously because of the defensive injury, but they've signed Yannick Vestergaard now, so hopefully that solidifies their defense. But I feel like personally for me, Harvey Barnes has the biggest chance rather to succeed in that front three, or however Brendan Rodgers chooses to display his team this season. And also he's pretty cheap. What, 7 million?
7 million. Yeah, I think that's pretty good for a midfielder who's been a crazy threat in front of goal. He's a very creative player. Going to my forwards, I've chosen now. Look, Ivan Toney is one of the most picked strikers in FPL, and I'm backing him this season. I really like the Brentford team, and I really like the way Toney plays. So it was a no-brainer for me to pick Toney from the beginning. Now Danny Ings, I was in two minds, I would say. Yeah. It was either Ings or Callum Wilson. I actually draw this chart. If I can find that chart, I'll put it in the video somewhere. But it showed me that Callum Wilson is actually second in the terms of chances created and the number of shots on goal and goals scored as well. He's second in FPL, and that's a really good start for a striker. So that's why I thought I'd put Callum Wilson. But at the same time, it's Danny Ings, and I think Aston Villa are definitely going to play him in the first few fixtures, probably alongside Watkins. And they have good wingers as well. They've gotten amazing.
They've gotten Leon Bailly.
They've got Leon Bailly, and I think they have good wingers and who can assist Ings. And Ings is, when he on his day, Ings is a really good striker. And I think he was pretty cheap as well. I think 8 million for a striker is not that bad. So that's why I've gone with Ings. And again, Iheanacho scored in the FA Cup. Not the FA Cup, the Community Shield. Community Shield. And I know it was a penalty, but coming back of last season, he's played brilliantly towards the end. And I think he can carry that form. Hopefully he doesn't get transferred, but I'm pretty sure it won't happen this week. So he's in my team.
It might. Look, here's the issue. That's the only reason I decided against Iheanacho. So I personally decided against him because as soon as I saw the speculation that Roma wanted him, I didn't want this to be one of those things where the players get benched. I think that's one of the major reasons why people haven't picked Kane for their team. Yeah. Because if Kane might transfer, it's definitely not going to happen before game week 1. Yeah. But it might happen sometime in between, before 31st August. Obviously, it will have to be. But,
exactly.
But in the meantime, if Kane and the management have a falling out, he's obviously going to be benched, which I feel like is a huge gamble, and I don't think I want to take that myself.
Exactly.
Can you please just run us through your bench and explain how you picked
them? Again, Foster, this is purely because I love watching the cycling goalie. I think if anyone watches YouTube, you'll see the cycling goalie, and he's spoken about his FPL, he's spoken about his predictions for the league. He is, I think, one of the only players who plays in the league and is predicting. I think he's a really good goalkeeper as well.
Him and Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney asked everybody to pick him in the FPL.
So Ben Foster is a really good goalkeeper as well. So I know he's second choice behind Watford's main goalkeeper.
Bachmann.
I'm not able to recall.
Bachmann.
Yeah. So he's second choice, but at the same time, I think 4 million on the bench, I have nothing to lose there. Again, Hugh Bissouma, brilliant holding midfielder. He was too good. I really wanted Liverpool to sign him to replace Wijnaldum, but I think we have that midfield position covered.
Yeah.
Ben White. So the reason why I'm not started Ben White is I do not have any idea what Arteta is doing with the team. I don't know if Ben White is going to fit into the team, and I don't know how he's going to play, where Arteta's planning to play him.
I think here's what I would suggest. Like again, this is just purely because if you remember, I think the beginning of this season, that was 2020-21. It was a very early fixture between West Ham and Newcastle itself, and Newcastle literally scraped that victory away from West Ham, if you remember. So if that Jeff Hendricks obviously got the goal in that, I think 2-1 they beat them. But again, I feel like Ben White is definitely going to start. There is no way Mikel Arteta is not going to start him. So the only change I would suggest in your team right before the game week would be Ben White versus obviously Ben White swap for Kufal, because Kufal is brilliant, but again you never know whether or not he's going to be able to give that. Obviously now that Lingard is gone from the West Ham side, a bit of the creativity is going to disappear from that side. What I would suggest is, though, obviously he has a stronger keeper behind him now in the form of in the name of Areola. But again, for Kufal to be able to emulate what he did last season is going to be a little difficult, especially considering their opening fixture is against Newcastle. And obviously, like you mentioned, Callum Wilson. If he scores that goal, then there are some points right there gone.
Yeah.
So I think with Ben White, it could go either way. Like, say for example, obviously it's the first time Brentford are playing in the EPL for so long. So that would be a risk. You don't know how they're going to react to the situation. And considering that Arsenal's defense looks solid right now with Ben White in there. Obviously, it wasn't that solid when they had people like, I don't know. I can't even remember that.
Yeah,
exactly. Who even played? I think Pablo Mari, but he got injured. Halfway through the season, he got injured. And then they had
Gabriel
Chambers.
Callum yeah.
Didn't work out. Gabriel was solid. I feel like for first season,
he also played well.
He did. So I feel like alongside Gabriel, Ben White is the obvious choice. So you probably should swap him out. Could get
the only reason why I didn't do that, the only reason I didn't swap Ben White for Kufal was because I have Tony in my team.
That's true. So it would be like a reverse.
It would be cancelling out the.
Yeah, I get it.
Whatever happens either side, it would be cancelled. And again, the last choice, Smith Rowe. I think Smith Rowe was a very surprising choice for me because last season, I think no one knew who he was.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he came into the Arsenal team and he just changed the season. He was saving them from probably finishing the bottom
How
half.
much did Smith Rowe cost you?
It was 5.5 million, and I think it was very cheap, and it can go either way. Smith Rowe performs extremely well, then he'll probably be in my starting 11 as well.
I think you can get Saka for 6.5. How much do you have balance?
I think I have 1 million left.
I would suggest you could, if he's 5.5, you can get Saka for 6.5 instead.
6.5.
If not Saka, then I would suggest you could go for Gilmore. He's obviously gone on loan to. He's definitely going to start. He's definitely going to start for them.
I saw Norwich's preseason game against Newcastle. I think I saw him assist a goal. It was a beautiful through ball. I think he's going to do really well with Norwich.
Yeah, that there's a reason why I feel like that is why I wanted to keep what do you say? Obviously, I'll speak about my team in a bit, but I genuinely, he was one of the front runners for a 4.5 midfielder. I would definitely have him.
Definitely. Let's move on to your team. Let's look at your team.
Fair enough, mate. I feel like for this thing, obviously, it's like Shah said, the most picked keepers are either Emi Martinez or Sanchez. I was personally confused between Sanchez or Bachmann. Bachmann, obviously, I feel like in the championship, he had a very good save percentage, somewhere in the regions of 70% and above. And that is really good for like bonus points, in terms of bonus points, since FPL has introduced that for keepers now. Obviously, moving on, there's Trent Alexander. I think pretty self-explanatory. Whenever Liverpool score, he's either part of the move or he's obviously going to assist. So I feel like against Norwich, it may be a difficult task to keep a clean sheet, but definitely there are going to be goals in that game. And if there are goals, I feel like Trent's name is going to pop up either in the scoring chart or the assist sheet. Luke Shaw, again, don't need to explain. It's obviously Leeds, a tough fixture in the opening week itself, but again, Luke Shaw's had a brilliant last season. Obviously, he's had a brilliant Euros as well. Pre-season, not so sure that we saw a lot of him, obviously because he was returning from holiday, but I feel like he's going to be a crucial figure if he can stay fit for Manchester United. I picked Veltman from Brighton because Brighton have a couple of tough run-ins, but apart from that, they have like mostly smooth sailing, and Brighton mostly, at the beginning of the season, they look for clean sheets, because that's been the Brighton mentality. And now with Carlos Sanchez, and it's more like a double down where I'm taking Veltman because he's 4.5 million, obviously, and they're facing off against Burnley. And as we know, Burnley struggled last season. They absolutely struggled. So I don't see it being any different this season, considering they haven't bought a lot of players in. So hopefully, that works out in my favor with Veltman. Simicas pretty self-explanatory. He's 4.0 million. I mean 4.0 million, obviously, and facing off against Norwich, he's definitely going to start because Robertson's injured for the next 4 game weeks or so. And going forward, I feel like Simicas is pretty good, although we haven't seen a lot of him. He's still relatively one of the better fullbacks in terms of attacking as far as Liverpool's choices are concerned. Moving on, I have also captained Salah because 2 reasons. One, Salah is a serial goal scorer and loves scoring against Norwich. Second, his opening game weeks are always solid. He definitely gets onto the score sheet or the assist sheet every time there is an opening game week ever since he's signed for Liverpool. So I feel like he'll personally continue that run. So if anybody's going to get those goals for Liverpool, it's probably going to be Salah as well, alongside like Arnold or Mane maybe. I hope Mane gets goals, but I guess we'll have to wait and watch.
We'll have to wait.
Fernandes again, hit or miss. I personally didn't want to pick him. I feel like this was one of the decisions I was pressured into making. I could still change him right now. I genuinely don't see myself being very comfortable with Fernandes. Not because he's not a good player. I just feel like he's very inconsistent. In games where he plays well, he's the deciding factor in that entire game. He can be the difference between the two teams. But on days where he's not completely lackluster, does not perform as well, gets subbed off more often than not when he's not performing. With Son, I feel like this is going to be a pretty obvious choice. Again, I don't think this is going to be a hit or miss, purely because of the fact that obviously Kane's future in doubt now. Spurs will probably look to base their attacks, and most of the balls will go towards Son now in order to get those crucial goals for them. So he's been a serial goal scorer for Tottenham, and he's shown that last season as well. And moving on, Harvey Barnes, like I mentioned when we were talking about Sharky squad, I have nothing further to add apart from the fact that he's one of the key players in that Leicester attack, and he's probably going to be getting them a decent amount of goals and assists. Moving on to my Strikeforce, obviously Danny Ings, one of the most picked forwards. I feel like he's obviously not as he's not very picked as compared to Ivan Toney, but he's right up there. 8 million for a striker. On his day, he can be.
I think the only reason Ivan Toney is picked more is because he's cheap. He's just 6.5 million.
He's 6.5 million, exactly.
Extremely.
And Mikhail Antonio.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. These are the kind of players who settle into your squad. You don't need to transfer them out in or
exactly.
out.
Never. You don't have to.
Yeah,
ever.
Exactly.
And I think the only place where I would suggest you to change is Son. There's a reason why I'm saying that is because look, Nuno has just got into the team as a new manager, and it's going to take some time. I know Son just scored against Arsenal in pre-season, but at the same time, this is City we're talking about. We're talking about the champions, and they have an extremely strong defense.
No, definitely. I'm not basing him off of the first game week. My entire thought process behind picking Son was obviously his first game week is against City, but then till game week 4, he has easy run-ins. They have Wolves, they have Watford, they have they have Wolves, Watford, and Crystal Palace. So these are like very easy fixtures.
So what I would have suggested you to do was remove Son, get in a cheap midfielder, and invest in another striker, because you know a striker is going to get you goals. The moment he scores goals,
definitely
you're going to get more points, right? So if you now Son's first few game weeks are not going to be easy. They're going to be quite difficult. I think after the 4th week or the 3rd week, you can get Son back. So I think you can save those 2 transfers. And get in a cheap midfielder and invest in another striker. That way, you have 3 midfielders and 3 strikers.
I was personally keeping Son because his goal scoring record against City is a legend. He scores really every game they play against City. He scores. So I'm just basing it off of that. Again, I understand what you're saying with the strikers. It's a confirmed goal. Like obviously, it's either going to be a goal or an assist. But I personally don't see anywhere I could invest other. Like Ivan Toney, definitely I would. But I feel like they've been promoted and their fixtures are looking a little tough right now. Now, obviously, the first one is against Arsenal, so that could go either way depending on how Arteta sets up his team. But apart from that, I feel like the only reason I haven't picked an extra striker right now is because the defense and midfield feels set for me. And I will probably look to use my wildcard pretty early this season, somewhere in like the 7th or 8th game week. I personally see that happening because, again, that will be around the time where the transfers are finalized, injuries are revealed, like who is injured, who's not. So let's see.
Run me through your bench.
Yeah, fair enough. Foster, obviously 4.0, cheap goalkeeper. Who wouldn't pick him? He's the very next. Like I mentioned earlier, Bachmann is settled there, but I feel like every time Bachmann gets either injured or needs to be rotated at the squad, Foster is the obvious option. Brilliant save percentage every time he plays, so that's obviously.
I think he has the most highest save percentage in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Did you know that? That was the best starter ever.
He does. Unfortunately, he's just not going to start, and that's the only reason I put him on my bench
that's
right
the only.
now. And obviously, there's Amarte. With Vestergaard coming in, I still feel like there is Soyuncu is never defensively solid. for Leicester.
Yeah.
Even the Euros he came off, it was just a shocking performance by Turkey.
Oh, horrible.
And Soyuncu was right there in the middle of that defense, causing errors left, right, and center. So I feel like if Brendan Rodgers wanted to explore, probably Vestergaard and Amartey would be a good partnership. The only reason I haven't put him there is because again they signed Vestergaard just now, so he might just opt for the Vestergaard Soyuncu link up, and that's why Amartey is on my bench right now. Moving on quickly, Josh Brownhill obviously for Burnley. He starts. He's cheap. He starts, and whenever Burnley scores, more often than not, he's either the provider or the scorer. So
how much was he? 4.5.
4.5. He's cheap. He's 4.5 million. He's gotten a total of 74 points last season. Somebody off the bench for a 4.5 million. I feel like 74 points is huge every game week. So yeah, hopefully, let's see. Again, Burnley, I don't expect a lot from them this game week. From this particular season. Yeah, but they are facing off against Brighton. That's an easy run-in. Moving on to Liverpool, second game week. But after Liverpool, from game week 3 to 6, they're facing off against Leicester, Arsenal, Everton, and Leeds. So it's obviously they're going to get one goal or try to get at least one goal. They're not going to park the bus indefinitely, but that's the only reason I've kept him there, so that I can bring him on in case one of my players gets injured. Obviously, there's Obafemi for Southampton. Southampton, I feel like after the loss of Danny Ings, Obafemi is going to become a more regular starter. Obviously, they used to play a 4-4-2 with Che Adams and Danny Ings up front, but now I feel like that's going to be Che Adams and Obafemi. A brilliant youngster. The only reason he's not starting for me this week is because they're facing off against Everton. Everton have proven themselves to be defensively solid on multiple occasions.
And I think Rafa Benitez fits that Everton team.
He does.
So I think I don't expect much from Everton.
Yeah,
I don't like them, but then I think they'll probably finish quite high this season if Rafa can make that team go. But
I also don't see them finishing in European spots, but yeah, probably 8th to 10th is somewhere their region. 8th to 11th rather, I would say.
Yeah, but you never know with Everton. And I wanted to suggest getting this young kid. He's 5 million.
Zolis.
Christos Zolis. He's
Shash has been going on and on about
been
Zolis.
Going on.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too.
That's because I've seen. I just kept an eye on this guy from the Greek league to just internationals as well, and he's been a fabulous player. He's I think 18 years of age and more 40 plus goal contributions in the Greek league last season, and he's just 18. So and he's signed with Norwich. So I think the combination of Todd Cantwell and Zolis and they've got a new striker. And they've got a new striker who's Josh Sargent, who's a really good young striker.
From the Championship, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, No. He's from, I think, Werder Bremen.
So anyways, guys, that's it from us for this episode. Hope you really enjoyed that video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Also, hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time we upload. In the meantime, guys, please share this video with your friends. Help us expand our reach. It will mean the world to us. And all the love and support you've given us up to this point, we are truly grateful for it. We cannot thank you enough. Stay home, guys. Stay safe. Donate to COVID relief as much as possible. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys. Take care.